In life, not every good news should be shared, not every testimony should be announced, because sometimes it is not yet God's appointed time. This is the story of Chinaza Okafor, a young Nigerian woman who learned this truth in the most painful way. Chinaza had everything she ever prayed for: a loving husband, Chike, a promising career, and a new life in the United Kingdom. Back home in Nigeria, her mother, Ebele, called often. Her voice was always sweet, filled with concern and love, just like as a mother loves her daughter. She would call and say, "My daughter, how are you? How is Chike? Have you started planning for children? I am always praying for you." Chinaza would smile after every call, thinking her mom cared deeply. But behind those words was a darkness she never imagined. Ebele was a member of the secret witches' coven, bounded by a blood covenant, a covenant that demanded something unthinkable: the lives of her own grandchildren, in exchange for power, long life, and for wealth. Whenever Chinaza conceived, Ebele hurried into the coven's meeting, whispering, "My daughter is pregnant again." And the coven will respond with chants, releasing demons of barrenness, demons of miscarriage. And one by one, Chinaza lost her babies. The first miscarriage, the second miscarriage, and the third miscarriage. Each one leaving her weaker, emptier, and more broken. And yet, her mother still called, pretending to care, pretending to pray. She will say, "Don't worry, my child, God will do it. You will carry your own baby one day." But it was her hands that was pulling life away. At our office in London, Chinaza sat at her desk, her face buried in her pen. Tears fell freely. She could not understand why her joy was always cut short. That was when her friend Amara Johnson walked in. "Chinaza, you've been so sad," said Amara. "Please tell me what is wrong. Why are you so moody?" With trembling lips, Chinaza poured out her story, her miscarriage, her confusion, her despair. Amara held her hand gently and said, "This is more than a medical issue. My friend, this is spiritual. Come with me tonight to my church. God will give you answers." That night, Chinaza stepped into Light of Christ Ministry, where Pastor David Osie was ministering. The air was heavy with prayer. When the service ended, Amara helped her meet the pastor. He listened carefully, and his eyes steady, then placed his hand on her head and prayed for her. He said, "Daughter, the enemy has been monitoring your destiny. From today, you must not announce your pregnancy to anyone, not even family, until the child is born. Guard your secrets. And above all, retrace your step back to God. He will fight for you." Peace flooded her heart. For the first time in years, she felt hope. Months later, her phone rang again. It was her mother. "Naza, my child, how are you? Any good news for me?" But this time, Chinaza had learnt wisdom. "Mama, we are fine. God is good." No matter how her mother pressed, she revealed nothing. And this time, she was indeed pregnant, but under God's covering and in silence. Back in Nigeria, the coven gathered, uneasy, restless. The leader of the coven, Elder Obina, frowned. "Something is wrong. I hear the cry of a child in my spirit. One among us has betrayed the covenant." He lifted his staff over a dark mirror. An image appeared: Chinaza and Chike holding a newborn baby, rejoicing and singing praises to God. The coven erupted in rage. "She has broken the pact," they say. They raised their voice in incantation, sending fiery arrow across the sea. But suddenly, Fire fell from heaven, one by one, witches' screams, collapsing as unseen forces consumed them. In her room in Nigeria, Ebele, Chinaza's mother, shrieked violently, thrashing on her bed. Neighbors rushed her to the hospital. There, in her final moments, she confessed with trembling lips, I killed my daughter babies. I gave them to the coven. I betrayed my own blood. Forgive me, Lord. Forgive me. And with that, her breath left her body. Days later, Chinaza received the news her mother was gone. But what pierced her heart was the testimony of the neighbor who revealed every word of her mother's confession. She sat in silence. She felt bad, unable to comprehend. The woman who raised her, the woman she called her mother, the woman that called her her own daughter, was the very one behind her pain. She could not really understand why. Why was her mother was the main source of her problem. Her husband, Chike, took her hand firmly. God has delivered us, Naza. What the enemy makes for evil, the Lord turned for good. Our child is our testimony. Tears filled her eyes, but these times they were tears of joy. Beloved, this story teaches us a timeless truth. Not every news should be shared. Not every ear should hear your testimony. Even family can be a tool in the enemy's hands. There is a time for silence and there is a time for announcement. And above all, remember this, no power of darkness can prevail against the power of God. Because when God fights for you, your victory is certain. Your victory is sure.